Right, hello, good morning everybody, good afternoon. My name is Jarek, I'm the Archon Studio, and as always, welcome to our bi-weekly AMA. So if you have any questions, just keep them coming. I have a few slides, as always, ready for you to go through them. I have some miniatures to show, a few other updates. The music is really loud. Let me just change music. Oh, I can tell. Yes, I can tell. Okay, it's changed now. It's changed. Music shouldn't be loud. I have to shout. It's okay now. Should be fine now. Sorry for the music, because let me just make it a little bit less. Right. Let me start it again. Hi, my name is Jarek. And apparently I'll have to keep, scrolling through that music for every single slide we're gonna go through. I'm on a new setup today. It's only temporary setup till next week when I'm gonna be doing much more, let's say, final setup. So camera position not the best. Yeah, we know. Okay. Let me correct this one as well. How about now? You see my face, it's boring. And also here on top, your comments might be actually coming up, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so I need to be a little bit lower. Okay. We're there. Okay, so I've got a few slides ready to go through. I have a presentation, I have miniatures to show you. I just wanted to quickly start with one of the questions which we have here regarding the colors. Yes, we haven't changed any colors. Oh, by the way, I've got a new camera, so hopefully this time around this camera will work and I'm going to be able to show you the minis in a quality they deserve to be shown. I could even do very good. Right, that's a new setup, but as mentioned, it's not the final one. It's not the final form. Okay, welcome. Marcus, hello. I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Actually getting ready for trade shows. Very, very excited time of the year when we go to the biggest one at Essen Spiel. And yeah, I can't wait to see people, meet them. Yep, I have something to show you. I will show you the miniature which we prepared for Essen. I have it here, but I've got better pictures to show you in a sec. Okay, let me scroll quickly. Okay. So this question is actually quite good. I think we have so much to do in terms of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 that we might not be able actually to get that far. So the release plan is for the next couple of years. In fact, we just had a meeting yesterday with Ubisoft talking about the future of projects and what we have in the pipeline. So it really looks very, very bright. We might have one more project around Might and Magic. I don't really want to spoil it now. It's not ready even to go through, but in general we might have something coming in the next couple of years. Obviously the new project means we will need at least 12 months of work to get there and then release and so on. So we might be looking at 2025 or something like that. What are the changes to product delivery to happen sooner, for example, late mid-November? I think there is no chance for that at all. I think if we definitely aiming on November shipping to us and December. The manufacturer just started production of miniatures a couple of weeks ago, which we approved. Paper hasn't been started yet. We just need a final approval from Lancer, so just to make sure we go through everything and there are no issues whatsoever. But it's not the problem, because even if we start next month, it still should be on time with everything else. Yeah, so aiming towards the end of the year, that's yeah. Actually, yeah, there's something which we are going to change. By the way, I'm just seeing my camera is flicking. If you see something flicking on your screen, let me know, because it might be just on my end. So going back to this, something which we did with the previous shipping was custom-made boxes for it with the inserts. What I mean by insert is basically having a corners and such plastic corners in boxes, make sure nothing will get damaged. And we had extremely low number of damaged parcels with this new approach. So we will replicate this one because we don't want any. We want to limit as much as possible, obviously, the damage during the shipping. And you're right, during Christmas period or basically in December is the mayhem. So many parts is going back and forth, and the quality of shipping company services is, you know, below any bottom line. Mm-hmm. Yes, those cards only available in Polish language, only in Poland at this stage. We haven't put much attention to this, to be honest, like to roll out to anywhere else. But that's the question, not to us. This is a question to those blood. I don't know how they actually name, to be honest, but to those organizations which actually running those events, whether they're actually going above just only in Poland or they're actually going somewhere else. If they do, we might actually translate it to different languages. Why not? No flicker. Okay, that's great. No flicker, so it's just basically at my end. That's fine. That's okay. As I mentioned, this is just the temporary setup, so next time I will have much better one. When can we expect shipping? So, as I mentioned, this should be a late November or December. And you will get email coming from GameFound about your shipping with your tracking number. We speeded up the process as well. We cut a middleman, which is called ourselves. So this means the parts is going to be prepared for us in manufacturing in China. So we have a full boxes and everything else, and shipped directly to the distributor. So this means in the past we used to get all stock coming into our warehouse, and then we will repacking it to the new boxes and shipped out of the door. This time around, to speed up everything and process and such, we just want to make sure that we will invest more into proper packing and picking and packing. But it will speed up the process of delivering parcels to you. We won't have to have this inside here. Right. Or maybe a bit that flicks. Okay, we will see how this one goes with okay. If you're asking for any type of replacements, obviously, if yeah, this one here, obviously yes. I mean, that's quite normal. It's a product, and if the product is faulty, and if something is not done right, we will definitely provide replacement, unless it's something which everything might happen. Obviously I'm not saying it will, but you probably, if you're from the board game industry, some of the companies sometimes we also had some problems in the past, but we did provide replacement, but for the misprints. But you never know, maybe something happened. I mean, at the end of the day, I just heard the story about a company which made a massive 6,000 quantities of the board game, and the board game was actually in Europe in distribution center. When they find out the manufacturer of dice back in China did something wrong with it, so he misprinted dice. So they needed to actually replace every single dice pack in every single board game, which was like 6,000 copies or anyway, crazy stuff. So, and those things might happen. So yeah, we're not counting on anything else. I mean, the manufacturer we're working with has got a good reputation, so I don't expect any problems. If we can provide misprints, we will definitely provide misprints. I'm not aiming on any. So there will be some surprise, by the way, for something. Yeah, I should mention this. Something new we did. I asked my team to provide a designer notes like a booklet of, you know, XYZ number of pages to the game. So you have obviously rules, and then you will have the mission book and such. But then what I wanted to do is to provide as well designer notes. So some explanation about the game, some explanation that what's the difference between the video game and the board game, for instance, right? Because some people might ask the question, I know I played the video game, it doesn't play this exactly the same way. So there's a tiny small explanations from designers to why we did that way. There's some explanation about some frequently asked questions. So if there's some frequently asked questions, which you will find answers in the books, in a rule book anyway, but they might be sometimes missed because, you know, we all excited, want to just get miniatures on the table and play. In this situation, just board game and play. But yeah, so that booklet is about 17 pages, 17, and it should answer every single question which you might have for the game. So I think that's something new. I haven't seen this one in any other board game, not to the quantity or to level of actually engagement with such a thing. So we see how the one goes. Yeah. What's that? I had 2 French YouTubers that have a lot of problems to communicate with the new community manager on the response on the context, and you read the previous community manager. I'm not sure what's that about. My team is in the comments, so they're reading comments. So if this is something about our team, I will have a look on that one. But we haven't been working with French YouTubers. I think just one, maybe one. Okay. So how it works with France, I believe we work with a company, our distributor, and everything was going through the distributor. So, but maybe we should look into this one. Okay. Thanks for the comment. That's a very good question. That's a very good question. We're going to go through logo just quickly. That's a very good question. I would like to have a new logo on it. I don't know if we still able to do so, but I would like to have a new logo on it. Okay, quickly, slides. Maybe not quickly, but let's move through them. As I mentioned, that's new setup, so please bear with me if I do something. Right, okay, so new logo. We had about, my team will correct me, music is too loud. Yes, sorry, as I mentioned, and I forgot, sorry, I'm getting old. Now fixed, it's fixed. Yeah, I know. Sorry for that, it's okay. Sorry, I mentioned I will have to do it on, let me do it quickly on this as well. No, this one doesn't have a music. Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah. As I mentioned, it's a new setup. We needed to set up everything from scratch today and yesterday. And yeah, we missed that thingy with music. I correct music on the first slide, but I forgot about that one. Okay, going back to logo. So we actually needed to hire a professional to tell us what we really want. And what we really want, because obviously we had, my team will correct you, but I think we had around about 300 different logo designs. And the thing was, we couldn't figure it out what exactly we want. So we had a designer which we just say to him, listen, this is what we make. We make board games, we play games, and such. So we also design board games, we design miniatures, we make miniatures this way and that way. And he got from us a video which shows how manufacturing goes and such. So he come up with several ideas, and that was one of the idea. I mean, one of the idea combining a dice. Yeah, the dice like D6 dice. Okay, this way. Right. Okay, this the dice, and then obviously both plates here. They actually kind of he want to refer it to plastic injection plates. So. Yeah, so sorry, I'm laughing because Marcin is mentioning that there's a guy behind me. Yeah, rather actually playing on my nerves, not on it. But yeah. So anyway, if you go on our blog, there's a full explanation about how he come up with this idea for this logo. We had like 3 different versions, and then it moved from I think we showed here. Yeah, we moved from very square one to a little bit rounded one, and then that's the final one which we decide to go for. But finally, we have a full round recognition document. So if you know what I mean. So finally, because over the years we had our logo, which was kind of in different shapes and forms. We had like a 3D version or sculpted version. We had a version which was like, you know, the black version and white version, and then red version, but none of them were actually the same. And then sometimes we used letters, sometimes we didn't use any letters whatsoever. So this time around, we finally got to the level, to the stage when this is what Archon is, and this is how we're going to be using it and such. Yeah, so that's the new one. That's the new logo, and then this is the full round recognition doc. So, and main colors and such. I'm happy with it. Team is happy with it. Obviously, not everybody, not everybody in the team. It's a simple stuff. It's a very simple stuff. If you ask 100 people what they like something, you will find always somebody who doesn't like it and such. So, okay. You won't make everybody happy, and if you try to make everybody happy, nothing will work. It won't work. So, as I mentioned, we decided to go with James. James is a full-level professional logo designer. He designs logos for many companies in the UK, and then he spent a lot of time actually thinking through that, what is the best, and we believe in his professional approach, and this is what we have. As I mentioned, we went through that one. So that's the injection plates. So you have 2 injection plates which combine into 2, and then when they come up, you have a product which comes out, and then on top of that is everything squared into hex, and you have this one pip on the front, which is kind of nice. We did try with 6, we did try with 5, and nothing was working. With 5 was looking like a cheese. With 6 wasn't that good, so we decided to go with 1. That's correct. That's correct. We had some community logos, and nothing was basically working, so we really needed to go for some really professional approach. So anyway, and we believe it's going to look quite nice in our new building, which really I'm hoping we're going to move into by the end of the year, at least the office. I want to get the office into that. The building we are currently located, it holds quite a lot of people in office. I should be able to show. So I won't be. I'll break something if I do that. But in general, is quite a. It's not office friendly office. Okay, so the ventilation is not the best. Heating is not the best, so we have to, spend a lot of time fixing things and that and stuff. So finally, if we move, it's gonna be a really life improvement and quality of work improvement as well. So we're gonna have separate offices for where we can actually play the games, where we can play test our stuff and such. So And as I mentioned at the beginning of the logo talks, we have a blog. If you go to Archon Studio and if you go to the blog, you will definitely find more if you're wondering about it. Okay, just a quick reminder about the trade shows. Just a trade show. So obviously Essen, the biggest one. I'm very excited for it. I have lots of meetings, and it's a huge for us because this stand is going to be massive. We never had such a large stand, so that's great. And then obviously the brand licensing Europe. This is the trade shows which we here. Right. So we have several meetings with other partners. And we see how it goes. Very excited to see them. I will say more about it. But Spiel is obviously from the 5th to 8th of October, and unfortunately the Brand Europe is from the 4th to 6th, so they're overlapping. So I might fly to UK just for the 1 day on the 4th, for the open day, and then fly back on the 5th just for the open day on the Essen Spiel. I will see if I will be able to actually do that somehow logistically. If not, I will go for Spiel straight away. That's how it looks for the trade shows for this year. We haven't been looking for any other trade shows, by the way. We have a few small local ones in Poland. Yeah. Okay. So some questions from AMA, some questions from the Discord. So according to the plan, we'll be able to tell us the shipping out date and possible range of delivery dates. Definitely through December, and obviously if we ship something in December, we would like to ship in November just for people to get in December. But it's a shipping period anyway, so some of the shipping might go through January. So we're not limited anymore with a number of parcels we could ship out from our place. In the past, like Master of the Universe, we shipped out 5,000 pledges within 3 weeks, 2.5 or something like that, 3 weeks. Only because, as I mentioned at the beginning, we received a stock and we needed to pick and pack everything with the new boxes and so on. We want to avoid this one as much. So that should speed up everything. And then the company we are using are top-notch professional in terms of shipping. I mean, Awaken Limbs is using them. Many. They just shipped out Witcher. So yeah. Is there any news on the pirate ship? We did yesterday. We had a session yesterday with the sculptors here about what we're gonna do with the pirate ship and how we're going to approach it. So I should have a final renders within the next few weeks. So Stefano is working on it. We come up with some quite clever solutions, but I will have to have renders to show you what exactly I mean by that. But you're going to be surprised. I'm going to be surprised with what we come up with. Obviously, positively surprised, I hope. Okay, can you tell us more about pre-painting process, or is that a trade secret? It is, kind of is. In fact, I had several now companies asking for it. It's not like, we want to roll out first, right? We want to roll out this one first. We want to make sure that this process is working. And this process is working. We want to master this process. So it will some time to actually master it. And then we might be offering this one to other companies as a service. But at the moment, we just want to keep it for ourselves. And the way how it's made, the way how this process works, I will show you some samples in a sec, because it's actually connecting with the other question, which was any news about revisiting the Woodhaven sets with pre-painting would be hella appreciated. Yes. So we did several different tests on the spruce just to see how everything will be selectively painted. So as you can see here, only the leaves are pre-painted. There is some shading you cannot see in this picture. There is some shading added into the bark itself in order to the tree itself. Yeah. And then we have the all sets. This is the previews and all sets, which we had it as well. And this is kind of pre-painted. Now, it's something to note here. This is only tests. Something we tried here was to use a sprue original color. So this a gray, dark gray we use for it. And we just overpaint selectively. We overpaint selectively some elements of the sprue, right? If that makes sense. So... But the full plan, which I'm just telling you secrets right now, which I maybe really shouldn't, was one of the base color will be different sprue as it is now. So we will probably make a little bit light gray. So then stone in a light gray, and then just the shading with different colors of the elements, which we believe they should be painted. I mean, the artist should be painted, right? Here we have samples for a rampart. This is rampart terrain. So yet another one. So some graffiti, we added some graffiti to it. So artists added some posters just to see the quality of it and the painting and such. So yeah, the broken concrete, yeah, and so on. And what's funny about this sprue actually was gray. So we kind of needed to match this color with the gray. So we will see how this one will work. And then we have here we didn't actually hit with correct colors, I believe. we wanted to do exactly the same, so the base color, which was the green one, and then on top of that a little bit lighter colors, but I think it didn't work nicely on the leaves here. However, the swamp here, the water here, is almost perfect. It's almost perfect. The quality of that is great. It's amazing. So we will test it and we will try it. We will test it. We try it once we have very, very nice quality, which you have to spend hours to get there with this level of quality of painting. We will get there. We will release better pictures and show you how it works. And yes, the next Kickstarter will also have those things. So we plan to have several sets, pre-painted sets. The team is currently working on this. And also in the future, we're looking at releasing pre-painted sets to retail. Now, something about the caves is that for caves, in this case, you're not gonna get sprue. So that's sprue, right? So for the caves, you're not gonna get that. You're only going to get tiles or walls, right? That makes sense, right? So this is the other step, and this is what I'm currently working on, and just to get that, yeah, good. Okay, can you show me more? I just did few of them, but yeah, we'll have to master it to show you in all glory. I think we don't want to spoil it too much because obviously we want to keep as much as possible for the Kickstarter, and also the competition doesn't sleep, right? Competition is also wondering how we doing it, and I think if we get there with this technology first one and we roll out first one, it will be like, we will have more companies try to follow this. Yeah. Is there a plan for making gameplay video? There is no plan at the moment to make for that. The team, we talk about that. We talked about a few times. We don't know when to do it and how to do it. Maybe if we move, or not maybe, when we move to the new place, because new place is much more, let's say, video friendly. Here we have like 2 different meeting rooms, and neither of those meeting rooms are actually good for recording any type of videos, and especially gameplay videos. So once we move to the new place, it should be much easier to do things like that. That's a question to our team, but I think yes, we should be able to show you this before we start shipping. So yeah, and in general we have to have it because we have to have the pre-production sample, which is the production sample, but not put in the mass production for approval and for the test. And somebody mentioned here about the just to prevent any type of damages or tear down damages. So we will see how the big box works. I think the quality of the material is robust enough to make sure it's gonna be lasting at least for a few good years. How big will basic dungeon lasers pledge be? Caves, yeah. Plus, can I see the cube? The cube is only in the concept stage. The cube will be quite large. I think it's gonna be size of kind of dragon, maybe a little bit smaller, because we need to hold at least 20 or 32mm model inside. So there was some requestment from other from people from Discord that actually it would be great if that cube could hold a miniature inside. So that's the plan and that's the aim. Maybe, just maybe, we will be doing a little bit of pre-painting on it. It means that we would have a selectively pre-painted elements which should be painted, like, swords or some maybe other elements which are inside the cube or outside the cube, stick to the cube. So something to bear in mind as a something, yeah. I'm very excited about this pre-painting system, right? This is something new. I mean, nobody else did that before in our industry. So, and we're trying to change this. We're trying to change this one a little bit. The mindset of our products and mindset of, you can get plug and play products as well. So yeah, I'm actually more passionate about that. I'm passionate about the licenses we have, so which is kind of strange. Usually I was very, very hyped about licenses. This time around I'm more about that. Okay, so there was a question, previous question, to show you basically the sizes of the pledges. So and now I'm gonna show you how this sausage is made, literally. There's some sneaky pig stuff and names you will probably recognize, but many is in Polish language, which is great because you don't know what it's about. But in general, what's the idea? The idea is that we're going to have like rocky caves. So everything gray is rocky caves. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 individual sprues for the rocky caves, and then different elements on each of the rocky caves. So the set for the rocky caves will be about 13 sprues. And that's your basic rocky caves, right? And then that's hills. So what we're looking at is you will have a sprue of hills inside the, and 2 of them actually, in that set, allowing you to create a kind of how we envisage the caves was you go to the caves and then you have a kind of small platforms. And we didn't want to go to, we didn't want to go to full level platform like you have with dungeon laser systems, but something which is good enough and looks nice, like a element which is just basically in the caves, like a small hill in the caves, right? So yeah, like platform, I would say platform in it. So yeah, that's gonna be available here as well. Exactly the same approach we will take for the belly of the beast. So that's belly of the beast, and with number of 13 sprues. So then we have demonic caves core set, and so we will have 3 core sets. Did I spill the bean here? Because I shouldn't show. Yeah, I didn't spill the bean. Okay. Yeah, this might be some surprise for you as well during the campaign, but I see this. Okay, it's not here. That's good. That's good. And then we will have something which I called super stretch goal. So once we unlock any super stretch goal, you will get for free 1 of 3 sets, and you can pick 1 of 3 sets. So on the first level, which we unlock, we will have to pick from 1 Spider Nest, Maw of the Abyss, or the Chambers of Agony. So we will have 3 elements you can pick it from for free, and each of them will combine 4 sprues. So just with the core sets, usually you have to go for 2 core sets to get access to super stretch goals. Will give you 26 plus at least another 12 sprues of stuff. Now, what is the money? It's really here as the stretch goals, and what we plan for the stretch goals is actually 10 sprues and many props. We're looking at from 60-70 different type of props. I think with 10 tools we will hold much many than 60 or 70 different type of props, but this campaign will be loaded with those props elements and such. And then you can see here we also talk about the miniatures. So what does it mean? This is additional buy. So something you will be able to buy additionally with the sets of the miniatures. And each of the sets of miniatures, it combines with the core set you're going for. So for instance, you go for the Rocky Caves, you can get those things here. So there will be 1 boss and then at least 4 minions, sprues, and then 6 plus 1. So yeah, quite a lot of miniatures in the sets, but they optional buy. We're not going to be forcing on you any miniatures with this campaign. However, not having miniatures, it would be a mistake. Yeah, so you know what you can expect. I mean, you know this pyramid about the quality, quantity, and price, right? So you will get all 3. Usually somebody say to you, you know, quality, quantity, price, pick 2. We say quality, quantity, price, pick 3. So that's our motto. That should be on the wall somewhere in our company. Yeah. Okay. Do we see any questions? Okay, that was the boarding part, because I need to go through the boarding part and explain it a bit. I don't have a layouts at the moment to show you how much the floor space it will cover. I did that in a CAD program, in a CAD software. I haven't. Yeah, I didn't get it screenshot. I would rather wait for our graphical team to actually make it full set to show you how big they are, how much they cover. But you can imagine that's 13 sprues. You got a huge number of elements, walls, floors, and such. So I did mention this one in last of the previous videos, that this time around we want to go for the much bigger sets instead of going for the small one. It's much easier for us as well to actually operate in larger sets instead of small. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the one. So Master of the Universe. Hold on one sec before I show that. Let's use this fancy great camera, which I have it. Camera. And yeah, there's no music. Just in case, I will just drop it down music. Yeah, okay, there's no music. Before we get there, welcome to our new setup. I just want to go to show you a few of the miniatures which we haven't showed you yet. We just received the final miniatures for heroes. You have to bear me with a second. Yeah. So we're going to start. Okay, we're going to start with Castle. So he will have a Griffin. I'll try to use maybe 2 hands. Is the quality good? Please tell me the quality is good. On my screen is very good, so really hope you have exactly the same quality. Archangel. Okay. You have the okay, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Marcus, for confirming. Oh, sorry. I think that's the champion, right? Sorry for me not missing. This camera is reversed, so it's like trying to drive a bike with a reverse steering. So yeah. Okay, Minotaur. So there was a question about the colors. So this is the final colors. You have to bear in mind this is not version which is pre-painted whatsoever. So that's where you're going to get it. And triglyceride. Okay. Obviously, the Ghost Dragon. That's the color. It's a very nice model, though. I also have a Dread Knight here. Just find. Okay, there it is. How much zoom I can actually look? I could even show you that much. So yes, those miniatures come in assembled. So yeah, they are for heroes and they fully assembled, and that's where you're going to get it. Obviously, trade line on the bottom and such. So yeah, they fully assembled and such. They board game pieces, so they have to be assembled. Well, not always, depending what type of board game you actually making. So more, show me more, right? I'm happy to show you maybe something from Tower. So with as Titan. Here we have it. It's quite a large model though. Okay. That's the city. And then the last one we have was kind of yellowish, so that's the color what you're going to get. So they're very good plastic pieces for board game, right? So yeah. I need to learn this one to move left, right. It's counterintuitive, so that's why. Okay, so from other miniatures I wanted to show you today, it will be our own manufacturing miniatures and plastic injection minis. So for dungeons, for Deuslair, so let me just clear this one just to make sure we have no problems to get this comment cleared. I see the comment in the clear too. Okay, now fine, good. That's Shiraz Pro. So Shira that's a new model for she's gonna be released on Essen. It's for the Battleground, and that model is a promo model. And as well, this is a model, and it should give you some indication that what next faction is going to be. So yes, the team is working on the next faction, and we're very close to finalizing it. So that's what you're going to find on the sprue. So that's the body. You have the wings and such. It's not many pieces to be assembled, and that's the Shira itself. Okay, so that's how the model assembled looks. Happy to show you a little bit more. Right. Okay. Then from Deuslair, that's one of another sprue which we just manufactured. It holds a few models. So we have this golem. Really like that model. And it's one of those models and miniatures which it's got even more potential for the future, I think. Right, so I mean, you can see it's completely different to any type of PVC models. I mean, you have a little bit more detail on it, more detail on it, but and better shapes. But that's what it is. On the same sprue, we have that body. So yeah, at least this camera is actually getting nice focus. And that actually gives us idea about the full faction for Deuslair in the future, like, you know. And then a spiky demon. I think this one is made out of just few pieces, like 3 or 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3 pieces. 4 with arm. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then what I haven't, so that was the one. Obviously we have a Drake. So that was the Drake, which I showed you last week, but obviously it was the camera problem issue, so I couldn't actually show you the full quality of that model. So that's the Drake model. That's the full sprue, and then obviously I have it assembled here. That's the fully assembled model. Yeah, it's a really good piece though. It's a really good piece. Okay. And then on the last week, this one. Oh Jesus, I forgot. So that's the weapon sprue pack. I got one piece broken here. That's something they're fixing at the moment. But just wanted to show you those elements and the quality. So this is for the Deuslair. If you want to custom make your miniatures, you can just use any of the weapons here. So you got for all the classes, all the D&D classes. I think not all, but most of the D&D classes. Shield, weapons, and such, staff. So yeah, some other random equipment, backpacks, right? Some potions and many more books. Okay. Yeah, and the large dragon. So we would like to welcome into our lovely family of miniatures new dragon. I did just show you last week, but there was the 2 sprues for there's the 1 sprue for Mimic Dragon, and that's the 2nd sprue. So you get this massive base. This one is actually 75mm base, I believe. So slightly bigger than the previous ones we introduced. And It is. Quite large piece. Okay. Now I would I don't know which things are optional. I believe this dead body there, and then this saliva I think is optional. Yeah, that saliva is optional. It's not glued, but yeah, that's great. Okie dokie, let's go back to my ugly face. No, we can go back to actually this. Right, so that's painted piece. And it's gonna be available at Spiel. Not only that, you will be able to get that model as well from pre-orders. Yeah. From pre-orders on our online store, right? So if you order something, I think we have a free shipping and such, yeah? Yeah. Okay. So, as always, we have been in Polish trade shows, different trade shows, this time in Spodek. And we've been, Michał and Kamil as well, they went for other trade shows just to show people how the game plays. And we have received very good feedback as always, especially from, after play testings and such. Yeah, and I believe initially when we did Heroes, we wanted to get the proper complex board game, but it seems to be like the Battlefield version of Heroes 3. It's more exciting because it's much more faster game. It's just one sit down and one proper battle combat. So you have this pre-battle all the setup, and then the full combat battle seems to be more exciting, at least for people who are not interested in such complex board games like 4X board games. So yeah, it's interesting to see. It's actually good that we did that, because we couldn't figure it out which option we should go for when we were at the designing stage, and we didn't want to miss out any features of the video games. And one of the most important features of the video game was the battles, right, and the combat. So it's nice to see people actually enjoying it. Yeah. Okay, let me go through questions. If you have any questions, please drop them now. I'll try to change to my face. Right. Do you have Inferno? We should have it. I don't have on the video, sorry, but I'm pretty sure they're somewhere in office, so I'll make sure we have them for the next live chat, which might be after Essen, right? Because what's the date now? It's 15th. No, I should still be able to actually do Friday. So just give me a couple of weeks and I'll make sure I have it for the next AMA in the next couple of weeks. Oh Jesus, this chat is not working for me now. What's going on? Clear? Okay, it's fine now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, both of them, they're not made out of resin material, and they're made out of quite robust plastic. So yeah, you can drop them, you can throw them at the if you're not happy with how the game goes, at the wall, and believe me, they will damage your wall, but they won't get damaged whatsoever. Shouldn't. But yeah, they're quite robust. Like for the board games and such, they very so. And yeah, we don't have to make drop tests. We know how robust they are. The dragon I was showing was actually that I was showing 2 dragons. So I'm assuming you're not asking for the heroes ones. The one it's a drake from Deuslair, and the other one is mimic dragon, also from Deuslair. Yes, that's the final colors for the miniatures, which we accepted. They're meant to be, I think the rampart meant to be there's the final, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, if you throw them from 5-story building out of the window from the 5th floor 5-story building, they might get some damage. But in general, even the pieces we have been taken with us on the shows, which they basically 3D printed, they were still okay-ish after playing some a few times. Obviously, we needed to fix them here and there, but those ones are very, very robust. What's the current estimation delivery date for Deuslair? I'm assuming January. My team targets is to finish tooling by December and have everything manufactured in December. But obviously we're not gonna be pushing anything to December, because even for us it's only a couple of weeks of work. Plus you have to bear in mind that we want to move office from here to the new place. So the new place, I don't know, I wish to be there in November, but knowing Polish, maybe I shouldn't say that. Knowing how it goes in Poland and everything, it will take a little time for full approvals for the building, let's say this way. So maybe in December, beginning of December, we'll be moving from here to a new building. So it will, we're going to spend 2 weeks on that, at least 2 weeks to set everything up. And then last 2 weeks in December are Christmas. So usually everybody takes holidays and they're not here. But Deuslair is shipped from here, from our own warehouse. So it's not coming through China directly to the distributor. It's actually going from our machines to packing. But it still should be January. We promised to ship that one out in March of 2024. So at least 3 months before. So we're trying to make sure that we delivery faster than we promised to. Oh yes, definitely yes. We plan to have more vehicles. Yeah, want to say more? Yeah, I like it too. It's actually Varunas it's a part of the surname of the sculptor who did that. So, and he's very, very excited about it. And when I was mentioning that we were looking at making full faction, he was like excited, like really, really excited about that. I don't know. The demon sleeps? I don't know. I've always thought the demons goes into the void and then they froze in time into the void, and then once they need to be released, they just spawn from the void. But yes, you're right, it's actually difficult, because imagine two demons standing in the queue, and then one of the spikes will be complaining about the other one. Get those spikes off my face. Okay. Thank you, yes. This weekend we had a sculptors gathering as well, and I've got a few things to show you more. Actually, I got a good camera. I can show you. I can talk and show you. Maybe easier. The old bear. It's slightly different approach to what we did with. Obviously, this arrow is optional. You don't have to stick it in. I don't know why designer put the arrows there, but okay, fine. It just want to show a very, very pissed off, angry, not pissed off, angry old bear. So yeah, that's the one, and a few other miniatures which we had it from previous projects, which we decided to make in plastic injections. I just wanted to show you as well the quality of these minis. And something we talk about is the way the minis are designed, the way whether they fit to the current aesthetics or what we should do in the future, and so on and so on. Because as you can see, this miniature is very, very fantasy. I would already say high fantasy design, and most of the miniatures for Deuslair are not. So yeah, it seems like a little bit out of place, but yeah, we have to be honest about it. And then like that. And that's the normal version. Yeah, I didn't fancy actually meeting this type of monsters, never. Mimic clock. Okay, and this is a that's the auger, if I'm not mistaken. That's how we call them. And there was a few fixes we needed to do. This is that is the additional element which we put in because we didn't like it. The joint between the arm was actually showing too much gap, so we come up with some additional element which just cover this. I mean, that here you can see this is not the best assembly, but there was a little bigger gap, so we needed to cover that. So that's what it is. Okay, and from the old minis, you probably have seen it. I just wanted to show you again. That's there's a full story to that miniature, and especially that this miniature being made initially for resin and turning into plastic and with this quality, so that's good. Yeah, so we had a gathering this week from sculptors came around, and because our sculptors work from home, we discussed about improvement in terms of miniatures, how we can improve. I've seen the comments above about assembling miniatures from the Deuslair and then assembling miniatures from previous projects. It's a miss and hit sometimes. Even now with the current project, it's always miss and hit. I'm not 100% happy with some of the miniatures we did or we made, so we really need to make sure that if it comes to making a huge number of miniatures and mass production miniatures, so mass designing miniatures, okay, let me just move to my face, and making mass production and miniatures, we need to make sure that this quality is consistent, because we have some of the miniatures which are fantastic and some of the miniatures not so good. And that was one of the reasons why we needed to have entire team here for a week, just to make sure that align with the processes we have here for cutting models and such. I'm really hoping that this will improve. Definitely will improve, because every single session like that, it will just level up for our sculptors. So from the next projects, you should be seeing even more progress into that better miniatures, or at least you will see a larger number of very good miniatures comparable with Games Workshop miniatures from our line. Okay. And eventually, I'm hoping within the next couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, every single 100% of our new products should be at that level. And I'm talking here about our own creations. I'm not talking here about the miniatures and models made under IP, because that's a different story. When you work with the IP miniatures and models, you have to stick with a concept and everything else which is provided to you. So there's some limitations and such, yeah. The translation's finished. All the translations finished, and now the translations are being put into the books. So the target for translation was end of the last month, and they did that, and now everything is being put. That's at least what the team is telling me, being put in the book. So this is very, very time-consuming process, because you have to replace every single sentence in the book with other language, and making sure there's no missing text and such. So yeah, and language to language, you usually have a different number of characters from for every single word anyway. So something written in English is maybe 100 characters, something translated to German sadly is 150 characters. So all of that needs to be placed correctly, and every single graphic needs to be then aligned to make sure the book is readable and there is no missing text. So that will take at least 2 months. And I'm talking here about languages which are the second wave languages. Yeah. Are there any plans for upgrade kits to previous releases, such as items for the tavern or defenses of the stronghold? Yes, but not with the next campaign, and not with the retail release. So we will definitely circle back to several different ideas and projects we had in the past. So when you mention about like Stronghold, for instance, right? So we might be looking at expanding Stronghold into some additional bits and bobs and elements, and this time around with the additional elements of interior. So yes, it might be actually part of the Kickstarter. So we will go probably after we finish, we will see how advanced we can get with pre-painting, because this will kind of dictate what we're going to be doing next. What's the plan for the future? And because plastic, in terms of miniatures, in terms of terrain, we actually hit a top quality. You simply can't make better. Only what you can change is basically the way we design it or the way we sculpt it. But in terms of pure manufacturing injection process, this is the top quality. You won't be able to get more out of it. So and that will be dictating, the pre-painting process will dictate the future of dungeon lasers, because there is some design choices we're going to have to take in order to have a surface for painting surface, basically for pre-painting surface. So some of the elements might be flattened a little bit, just a little bit, obviously. Some of the other elements needs to be placed in different angles. So maybe some of the angles, once not painted, might be odd, but once we pre-painted will be much better, and so on. So that's the kind of future. So I'm very, very excited, because as I mentioned, I think on the last video as well, it's a huge step. Pre-painting for us is a huge step. It's something which we cannot go out there and just try to understand and get somebody out of, and tell us how to do it and what to do it. So we have to do a process from zero, from ground up, which is for me very, very excited. And then put a little bit of tiny revolution into our industry, especially into terrain and what's the thingy? Terrain and D&D props. Yeah. Okay, I think that's gonna be all for today. It's 4:01. I'll check if there is some more questions. I have them. Yeah, I have them. We have. I just got the box yesterday. I showed my team, showed everybody, and actually, we were discussing that box aligned with this sprue, this sprue for the props. So if you have a look on the city defenders, many of the elements of the city defenders, they have this azure. I don't know if this is correct word in English. Azure, maybe it is. It sounds French, so probably is. But what we're trying to achieve is exactly the same way. So all the elements having quite a lot of a kind of detail which is going through the element, which allows then to have this a 3D spaces, like even that. Oh, my finger! No, I won't be able to show you like that. Where is it? Come on, Jarek, come on, hey, here. So yeah, and the city defenders, this is I just got it especially for my guys, for my team to show them what needs to be done, for the next miniatures. GW, they are leaders. I have to bear in mind, they are leaders in terms of how they do stuff. And the reality about that is they have time. They simply have time. They're not under pressure of you're running business, so you have to make sure that you have a release plan which is very, very short and quite fast and robust. So kind of like, let's say, the startup companies, right? We all, from our industry, most of the companies like ours, they work like a startup company. So you need a product within 3 months that stops. I mean, that's it. We have to have it. GW can spend at least 18 months on designing something. So if something doesn't work, they can even throw it away and start it again from scratch. We don't have this privilege yet. Are we going to have this privilege? There is some possibilities in the future to have privilege of actually not going, let's do it fast and quick, but rather let's stop, let's try, fix, and then release. Yeah. I was mentioning this, but I spoke with one of the guys who used to be 20 years. He spent 20 years in GW as a project design, as a product designer, as well as the studio manager. And it was back in the 90s, right? So, but even then, back in the 90s, when GW was actually having quite good foundations as a company, and they were doing quite well, they extended the line of releases from just 3 months to 6 months, and then from 6 months to 12 months. So they needed to work on something 12 months in advance. So, and effectively what was the idea? The idea was like, we have 6 months actually to design and then another 6 months to make it right. From our point of view, how we work, we have 3 months to design something and 3 months to put it into production straight away, with not much possibility of actually fixing those things which we would like to fix and improve. That's how it works. Okay. Stream seems to be increasingly glitchy just now. It seems to be... Okay, works fine. Okay. Don't think so. I mean, we haven't been invited, so maybe if we're gonna get invited, I'm happy to join to any type of streams if people wants to have a chat with us about it. I did 1 or 2 in Polish. 1 in Polish, but another one is coming because we're waiting now to be in a new place to invite people to our new factory, and then maybe we'll do something in-house with them, just to show them the process, show them what we do, show them miniatures, show, you know, physical product. It's much better to discuss. And yeah. Okay, is there any more questions you would like to... Oh, by the way, I mentioned this, but Essen, we will have some announcements. One of the announcements is the big one, which is the new board game. We did some sneaky peek of on our Discord. So if you go to our Discord, you can find a picture of something we are currently working on. It's a 4X game, sci-fi. From IP, under IP. We might have more IP announcements, but at the moment is the approval of media packs is going extremely slow. So I wish we won't miss the boat with Essen, because Essen is the biggest one, and obviously having a few words or just banner or something like that at Essen is just, you know, it's massive. So yeah, that's about it. I think that's it. So I don't see any more questions unless I need to refresh. I do have to refresh. Sorry, I needed to refresh. Do you accept a new board game designs? Usually we do. It's all depends what type of the board games we're talking about. You have to think about us as a company which still at the moment, in terms of board games, we're only going to be releasing these products on Kickstarter. So design of the board game needs to be properly designed for the Kickstarter and the way how the Kickstarters operate. Are we ever going to be releasing board games related to retail? I don't think so. War games, yes. Definitely war games, yes. War games, Kickstarter for the war games, yeah, some of them make huge money. But then, I don't know, I think war games require much more work with retailers and distributors in order to fly in the long term, not in a short term. In a short term, you go on a Kickstarter, you make XYZ, and then the project will die because of none of the distributors would like to have this in stores, or same for the stores will have it only on the shelf because of, you know, you serve the customers. So what's the point of actually doing that, continuing this one? So yeah. Let me clear that. Yes. I won't be spoiling, but the first in our plans is for the fourth quarter of 2024. So the end of the last quarter of the next year, the first release. So what's the plan? The plan is the first quarter we hitting stores with the base game, and then second and the third quarter, this is where we're going to be releasing stuff which we allow to release, so non-Kickstarter exclusive expansions, and then towards the end of the year will be new faction. I won't be able to tell you right now which one is it because I don't want to spoil it. I agree, but there's always room to improve. I'm sound like I'm not happy. I'm really happy. I'm very excited and very proud about the team what they were managed to achieve. But I would like to have better and better. I mean, that's part of the business, to make better products constantly, right? You cannot stop. Are there plenty of plans to have the terrain set for Moto Battleground Forest of the area? Yes, we always add some pieces of terrain with factions releases. So the next factions will have their own, I think they should have their own terrain pieces. And then we need to move back to something like non-competitive expansion, which will be probably some monsters, so like we had it during this wave 2, and then obviously map and terrain and new sets of terrain and new map and new missions. Thank you for your comment. I agree. Moto is great game. Moto Battleground is a great game. It's a great game. It's not like it's our baby. I know. I would never say my baby is ugly whatsoever, but it's a really great game. It's a very, very deep strategical game, and it's very easy to learn and extremely difficult to master. I've been playing many games, and you will never know how, even after playing 20 games, the opponent might just do the least which shock you, and you may think, nah, it won't work, and suddenly it works. So yeah, really, really happy about that. Okay, look, it's Friday. I don't want to take your time. Yeah, this is good idea, guys. This is good ideas. I think Snake Mountain Scenery. This is very good idea. We have to think of something around that. We also, we kind of limited to comic books at the moment, because all the references, well, not only comic books, but then most of them actually we taken from the comic books, and yeah, what is in the comic books we can actually use it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for dialing, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully my setup will be just the final setup. I don't want to sit during live. I wanna stand, so I got myself very cheap like desk, which allows me to actually lift it up. So I don't like sitting because I need to correct myself constantly, and that's my HDAD. So yeah. Okay. They are in works. So dice are in works. We need to align those additional elements with big releases. So once new faction comes out, we would like to have dice, including the dice for new faction. Otherwise, might not work really for cells and such. So it's a kind of strategy which we've been told long time ago, that if you want to do something which is the supplement for the game, and it's a premium supplement for the game, not mandatory to get, release something which people would like to buy it, and then additionally something like that. So yeah, sorry for telling you how the sausage is made, but that's really, that's the real story. And as this is AMA, I will tell you the true story about it. So yeah, we have to align it with the big release. So the next big release is basically new faction towards the end of this year, I think. Okay, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being with us and such. And I will have a chat with you, and I will join you in next couple of weeks, just before Essen. We will try to make it. Oh, by the way, I've been thinking about changing the hour for the time for stream for a little bit late. Maybe something about in Europe time, around about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock ish. Friday 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, usually this is the time when everybody go out and they're not at home, so maybe we could potentially move to Thursdays, and then Thursday around about 8, 9 o'clock I can do it either from home or from here. I don't mind, but that's something I've been thinking about. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will read them up tomorrow, and make up my mind. Yeah. Okay. Cheers. And